Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. I get a question once in a while from somebody asking me to compare a bunch of different Pokemon products and give them some advice on what they should be buying. And man, it's a difficult question because there are a lot of different Pokemon products, and then there's a lot of this weird emotion. And I almost hesitate to even use the word emotion because it's like people aren't just all about the most brutally efficient EV like they are with Magic or Flesh and Blood. People who buy Pokemon tend to be collectors. They tend to just love the product, and they're not looking to always make money or always necessarily play with. And so there are much different drivers, and so an analysis of EV on Pokemon products becomes a lot harder. So what I'm going to look at today, and just to kind of prove this point out to you and then draw some conclusions, is a bunch of products from Astral Radiance, which is currently the most recent set that was released. So here we just have the basic booster box of 36 packs, and then we're going to compare it with the Elite Trainer box. Now, an Elite Trainer box is kind of a staple item of Pokemon products. They've been making them for years and years. I mean, like, I went back with one analysis a few months ago and looked at ETBs from like 7 or 8 years ago. Probably they predate that even. But the Elite Trainer box, it's got 8 booster packs in it, and these are the same kind of booster packs as are in the booster box. And then it's got a bunch of energy cards, and it's got a set of these damage counter dice and the coin flip and the condition markers. And so those will be important going forward. And the rest of the stuff in there is kind of doesn't really matter. In fact, the card sleeves that come in Elite Trainer boxes are kind of renowned for how bad they are. Then we're going to look at Build and Battle Stadiums, which have 2 Build and Battle boxes, if this doesn't get confusing enough. So it has 2 of these Build and Battle boxes, and each of those boxes has a 40-card pre-constructed deck. And then it's going to have 4 additional Sword and Shield or Astral Radiance booster packs in it. So each of these boxes has 4 booster packs itself, and then there's 4 more because you're in this Stadium product. So you're going to get 12 booster packs in here, which is 1/3 of a booster box. And then a even bigger brick of energy and another set of these dice and condition markers and everything. And we're also going to look at those individual smaller Build and Battle boxes that, again, have a pre-constructed deck and 4 booster packs. Is this confusing enough yet? So just go back to the beginning if you need to, or pause the video and read all these descriptions. This is part of why people ask this question over and over. And this doesn't even get into the tins and the Pokeballs and the lunch boxes and the V boxes and the collector boxes, or just all these other confusing array of products. And then some of those products, they will mix booster packs in them. And they'll have like Astral Radiance booster packs, but then also Fusion Strike booster packs, which makes an assessment of value just so much harder. So what I've done is I've just made a dumb little table, and it's these 4 products that we're going to be looking at. It's the market price when I am filming this video, which don't get too hung up on it. This is just what they are right now as I'm filming. And so what I've done is I've listed how many booster packs are in here. Now, the nice thing is, all of these are identical Astral Radiance booster packs, so they are 1-to-1 comparable. Does it have dice and tokens in it? Well, of course, the Elite Trainer box and the Stadium box do. Does it have any of these pre-constructed decks? Well, the Stadium box gets 2 of them, and the Build and Battle box has 1. And is there a bunch of energy in there, a big brick of energy? I just added that. I consider for these analyses that energy is worth nothing. And so if we just look, what's the price you're going to pay today to get this thing, and how many booster packs are in it? What is your price per booster pack? So if you're just trying for the most brutally efficient way of picking up things like secret rares or radiant cards or whatever, then yeah, just buying booster boxes is the most efficient thing to do because it has the cheapest booster packs in it. But what if you're going to buy these for like your kids and you just want to get them a bunch of cards? Well, the total cards that are not energy, I did not count energy cards, the total cards in here are listed in this column, and then the price per card that you'll pay, okay? So the Stadium box has the best price per card. If you're, let's say you're just buying this as a gift for a kid. So you're best off with the Stadium box, and this is something I talk about a lot of weeks in the Friday sealed deals, I'll point out the stadium boxes have inverted EV. And in fact, if you just look at the booster pack price here and here between the booster box and the Build and Battle stadium box, they're virtually the same. They're within 10 cents of each other. And yet you get all these extra cards from the 2 pre-constructed decks and the big brick of energy in the stadium boxes. So the EV calculations for this are difficult. There's a lot of different things you have to decide whether or not you want. Whether or not you put value on dice and tokens. You can go out on eBay and you can just buy sets of these dice and tokens that people have pulled out of ETBs and stadium boxes for like $3 or $4 shipped to you. So they don't have much value. And if you actually play Pokemon, then yeah, you might need 2 sets of dice, maybe. But you don't need set after set after set if you're buying Elite Trainer boxes to enjoy opening and playing with all the time. And so something else that further complicates this is people like to just display Pokemon products like ETBs. Like if you look back here, like this is a Darkness Ablaze ETB and this is a Fusion Strike ETB right here behind me. And so they just look nice to display. And so because of that, people will buy them just for the collector purpose and the display purpose without really caring too much about the EV and what they're paying for the EV inside the box. And let me give you an example of how this complicates things. Here is the TCG Player page for all of the Build and Battle box displays. Now, these are not the Build and Battle stadiums. These are the smaller Build and Battle boxes like this, except it's the display, which is 10 of them. And so this is a product that doesn't have much history in Pokemon. It's only been around since the end of the Sun and Moon era, and then all of the Sword and Shield sets have had them so far. But the interesting thing to look at is the return on these products, because the wholesale price is something, I forget exactly, it's like $120 or $130 or something for this 10 box display of these. And yet, if we look back, Sword and Shield base set, now $550. Sword and Shield 2, Rebel Clash, $500. Darkness Ablaze, which is Sword and Shield 3, $510. Vivid Voltage, $520. So these are sets. Vivid Voltage is not even 2 years old. And this has gone from essentially like a, $120, $130 wholesale cost, or, $140, $150 retail at release cost, up to now $500 market price. So they've gone up 200% in 2.5 years. So the return has been insane on these things. And I've been buying these displays for the last several sets. I think I have Chilling Reign and Brilliant Stars and Astral Radiance and Fusion Strike and maybe one other of these, I forget. But I've been buying some of these, and it complicates that EV calculation because these have gone absolutely nuts in price compared to what's actually in them. You should probably want an ETB more than you want this, because the ETB has more booster packs in it. And, it's got the tokens in it, and the tokens are unique for every set. And it's got those card sleeves, even though they're really bad sleeves, but the sleeves are unique to the ETB. And so maybe from a collector standpoint, the ETB is a cooler item, but these Build and Battle boxes, they just have a cheaper price tag, and, they're a small box that people can display on a shelf. And so the point of all of this is that people act really emotional with these Pokemon products because they are collecting them out of nostalgia and out of love. And so they'll pay these weird prices, and, like I said a minute ago, I did that analysis of ETBs going back like 7 or 8 years. The result of that was that the compound annual growth rate of some of those ETBs was like 60% per year for 6-8 years. Just ridiculous returns if you had bought a case of those ETBs and just left it on a shelf somewhere. And so that's why when people ask me this question of, hey, Craig, can you do an analysis of Pokemon products and tell us what's best? It's really hard. I don't know what's best. Like I said, I've been buying a display box of the Build and Battle boxes for the last several sets. And, you know, I buy some Elite Trainer boxes once in a while when I see them under $35. And for the most part, I just buy the booster boxes because I think long term, what drives the most collectors is the chase for things like the secret rares and the rainbow foils and stuff like that, the gold cards, stuff like that. So I think long term, that may be what drives people the most. But the reality is with Pokemon, you almost can't go wrong. You know, if you want to open today, the Build and Battle stadiums are the best thing because they get you these booster packs at nearly the best price, but you get a whole bunch of extra cards out of them. And if you want to display stuff on your shelf, maybe the best thing for you is to just buy the cheap box because then you get a colorful display on your shelf. And so the answer is so varied depending on what you're doing and what your long-term goal is. But like I said, I really think you can't go wrong with this stuff because the collectors are just nuts. They're not going after EV like people in the Magic world will brutally go after. So let me know what you think about that. What's your experience with this? Because, you know, I wish I could give a more rational answer, but I just don't think there is one. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join the Patreon and join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot.